everybody, and welcome to the second episode of the Nonsense and Stuff show here on the Beyond Stuff channel. My name is Bryan Chevere, and alongside with me is Mr. John Chevalier. How you doing, Johnny?
I'm John Chevalier.
I made you introduce us to our very first guest to the show.
Our first ever guest is Angel Nieves.
Hello, everybody.
Now,
Let's cue up an applause. Yes, hands again. Part 2. Yay.
Anyways, we're here to talk about the streaming channels and the upcoming streaming channels, not services, and
like again, I am blind. I have no idea of any of this conversation, so this should be quite a fun ride.
yes, it's gonna be fun. So, streaming. What streaming service do you use, John?
I'm a simple man with simple needs. I stick to Netflix.
How about you, Angel?
I used to stick to Netflix, but since Netflix, I've watched most of the shows. And Netflix, you actually have to wait for the show to actually end. And like a month later, it's there.
Yeah.
And usually they don't have the full show sometimes. So I sometimes prefer Hulu because I actually love watching series over movies. And they tend to actually update an episode. They just add it to the Hulu.
Yeah, I do have Hulu under a special offer of Black Friday on November last year. They had an offer for 99 cents per month.
Really?
So I'm subscribed to that, and I'm using Hulu to the best, and I'm watching anime like I've never seen before.
Yeah.
I've caught up with Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I've been watching The Golden Girls by Pretty Old Ladies.
I may have to go to
And
Hulu
I
with Brooklyn
quit
Nine-Nine.
Netflix. Why did I quit Netflix? Because those motherfuckers cancel one day at a time. You don't do that. It's a very important show in our Latino community, and they fucking cancel it. But guess what? They spent $100 million to keep Friends for one more year.
Wait,
How ridiculous is that?
what is one at a time? One at a time?
One day at a time. It's a sitcom with a Latino family.
Why did it get canceled? Is there any reason why it got canceled specifically?
It's not because of the ratings. I refuse to believe it's because of the ratings, because it had a very, very strong demographic and a very, very strong audience.
Well, I don't know the reason why the show got canceled or, taken down from Netflix. It could have been, legal reasons. Maybe the time on the services actually expired, which was going to happen to Friends, and they just extended it.
It was a Netflix original, and
Oh,
and
it's a
they-
Netflix original.
It was a Netflix original.
Now that's a different story. 'Cause
Yeah.
Now what the fuck happened there? Now I actually want to investigate that.
They canceled it because they didn't. Apparently, the numbers they saw is not the numbers they wanted.
Did you check the...
I checked, John. I was digging into this because I love that show, and it's very hard to me to love sitcoms. This show was so important, and they canceled it out of nowhere. But thank goodness, Pop TV picked it up for a 4th season,
Don't
which is
worry.
good.
We have Angel
But
doing
I-
his Matrix over there.
But I still have that bone to pick with Netflix, so that's why ever since that show got canceled, I canceled my Netflix account, and I haven't got back since. Except that my mom subscribed to Netflix, and I saw Glow, which they just announced that they're gonna end it with season 4, which makes sense, but that's another story.
The reason I stick to Netflix is because of the most of their Netflix originals that I rather stick to, which is, well, aside from the live action one like Stranger Things,
Yeah.
the obvious choice. I go with anime. The anime and the Netflix choice originals there are actually pretty goddamn dandy, except for Neo Yokio. I do not want to talk about Neo Yokio.
That's a joke in it.
They have a strong anime catalog, and they have a strong stand-up catalog.
Yeah,
but
they
that's
do.
not gonna be enough for the upcoming storm of streaming services coming along. You see Amazon Prime with The Boys, with Good Omens, which I watched, and it was fantastic, even though it was very short. Then you have the biggest of them all, Disney Plus.
Yeah, the
Disney's
new
coming in-
giant coming
Yeah.
into a streaming war.
They're coming in with everything. They're coming with the whole Star Wars saga. They're coming with The Mandalorian. They're coming with their catalog of cartoons. How can Netflix survive this?
Isn't one of the first movies that they're gonna put on Disney Plus gonna be
They're
Lady
gonna
and the Tramp.
Lady and the
Lady
Tramp?
and the
Yeah.
Tramp,
I cannot stress
A
enough.
live action Lady and the Tramp,
I
and
cannot-
they're
Which
not
looks
doing.
cute.
And they look cute. And the thing is, they're not doing the whole super realistic without moving like the cheeks to animate the emotion. No, they're actually going for a more animated dogs
Okay.
with actually showing expressions.
Yeah, cause
So now it's kind of now we're not gonna be like, what? I don't feel the happiness. Now you can actually see it.
Yeah.
yeah, we're
So-
not gonna see dogs doing like, "Ah!" but then nothing.
Yeah, we'll see the eyebrows moving and all that shit, and it'll look a lot more like the original animated version. So there's a lot of people who are actually waiting for this movie.
And there's a lot of things coming down the pipeline,
Yep,
like the
that
Obi-Wan
too.
series, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk. There's a lot coming in.
I want to put this.
Not just Disney Plus. Warner Media is gonna coming into the streaming wars with HBO Max, and HBO does have content. They got the Game of Thrones, they got Barry. They recently got the exclusive rights to Doctor Who.
They did.
Yeah, they did. And
Yeah.
I'm a biggie for Doctor Who, so they got my money on that.
Too.
They
You got Doctor Who. That's all you need. That's
Yeah.
all you need.
That's all I need. And Doom Patrol, which by the way is the best
Damn it.
superhero TV show of all
I
time.
want to see it.
Better than Daredevil. Better than any Marvel TV series they have. Better than any single Arrowverse show. Doom Patrol is the shit. And it's coming to HBO Max. Yes, I know it's on the DC Universe streaming app. But I think their days are counted, because why would Warner Media have two apps of the same thing when they can have everything in one place in HBO Max?
Well, you could say that when it comes to shows, it's usually by contract.
Mhm.
So once those contract ends, pretty sure they'll be moved to Max, or they'll be left there for those who are not paying for the service, because I believe HBO has a free one, and the Max would be the
I
much
don't-
more premium
Yeah,
version,
but I
like
think they're
YouTube
gonna-
Red, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
they're gonna be
YouTube
transitioning
TV
to
is
that.
another streaming service that I learned not long ago, but it's only like reserved for America because it's basically like YouTube Red.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of stupid. Like, and we're in Puerto Rico. We should have access to it, but we don't because we're not.
We don't
United
have
States.
access to YouTube TV. We don't have access to CBS All Access.
Mm-hmm.
What a shitty name for a streaming service that does not give us access.
Yeah, let's.
And another one coming up is Apple TV, which they
Apple
don't have.
TV?
Yeah, and they don't have shit.
What the fuck is that
Well,
on
they
TV?
do have the morning show with Steve Carell and Reese Witherspoon and Jennifer Aniston. They got C with Jason Momoa, and they got Snoopy
on Apple TV.
on Apple TV Plus. Yeah, the new streaming services by Apple. This
By
is,
Apple?
Yeah, by
There's
Apple.
too many streaming services.
There
to
are
be
too
honest.
many. So the question is, how can people manage to keep up with all these streaming services?
I mean,
Is this turning into the new?
TV.
Exactly.
Yes,
new TV?
it is because technology is moving so much, and people aren't really using the TV anymore unless they're like using the TV for streaming.
Yeah.
So now the channels and all these production companies have noticed a trend. Everybody's going to streaming services, so let's just make our own. But by doing that, they're subdividing the clients. Now the clients have to choose, alright, I'm gonna take HBO because I like all their gruesome shit.
Yeah.
They
And
don't
Doctor
hold back.
Who.
They actually
And
show
Doctor Who.
boobs for once.
And Doctor
And
Who.
and
Doctor
they have,
Who.
yeah, and they have Doctor Who, of course. And then you're gonna have the people who like Netflix because they already have Netflix, and those who have Hulu, which were the original streaming services, and they were just there. Now
Mm-hmm.
there's so many, and they're so diverse in what they actually want to show that it's going to target a specific audience.
Yeah.
what do you think are the big three?
The big three is gonna be between Netflix, Disney Plus,
Mm-hmm.
and
And Hulu?
probably HBO Max. No, Hulu's part of
Hulu.
Disney. Disney bought Hulu.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know
And
that.
they're gonna make a bundle with Hulu and ESPN Plus, which is another streaming service, except you can watch live sports
Sports,
games
yeah.
in there.
So,
I'm not into sports, but,
But a
having
sports
this,
fan will
yeah.
enjoy that.
this having a combo with Disney Plus, Hulu
Hulu.
and ESPN for $12.99 is a pretty damn good deal.
Pretty good deal.
Something that you
especially-
already pay on Netflix for that streaming service alone.
Yeah, so you'd be paying for three in a bundle with one.
Yeah. I think we're gonna come into the bundle age where the companies will start offering bundles, but it's the same issue with the cable system.
Yep.
Except the only positive about the streaming wars is that people get to choose the content they want to see, because back when I had DirecTV, I used to pay like around $70, and most of the channels I didn't watch. I just watched Cartoon Network. I watched Nick at Night. I watched Comedy Central.
Yeah, it was too much of an overpay for little to see.
Yeah, you were paying for a bundle of 271 channels, and you usually just frequent 3 or 4
Exactly.
of those. Because we don't really pay attention. We didn't want to go to a live drama or Kardashians or the Housewives of Philadelphia because we don't find that interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The only channels I used to watch back then was FX, MTV1 and MTV2 because of Rob Dyrdek, mainly and solely for Rob Dyrdek. Oh, and shit, Wild 'N Out. That was the shit.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Now this is the thing. I made a couple of posts in the page on the Facebook page of Beyond Stuff, and most people have Netflix, except me, but most people do have.
Mm-hmm.
But they are willing to cancel Netflix in order to replace it with a much cheaper option. Disney's coming in with a cheaper option, $6.99 per month, with all of their catalog.
Yep.
And Netflix just keep hiking up prices. Do you think Netflix? Yeah.
Usually they're just hiking up the prices, but if you really want the best service from them, which will be having multiple devices online using the same account and watching the shows at the same time, it's like $15.
But
and they keep going up.
If you want to Disney Plus, the $6.99 plan, you can have 4 streams at the same time in 4K for $6.99. They are operating at a loss here, but they're willing to do that in order to beat up Netflix.
In order to beat up Netflix and actually gain traction into the service, because they need people to actually start it. If there's no people actually using the service, which, to be honest, freaking Disney, there are going to be people there already.
Yeah.
But they're making it easier.
There are already people there. And on the Netherlands, they already started streaming Disney Plus for free.
You have an idea how weird it's going to be? You entering on Disney Plus, and one of the first things you see is a Simpson with the Disney logo. You know, because that's Fox.
Yeah, Disney bought Fox. That's the thing.
That's true.
This is what needs to happen to the other streaming services, and I don't like to say it. For example, Apple. Apple was this close to buying Sony.
It is still there. That is
They
still part of the
They do need to get one of these studios because these streaming services need their IP. Because Disney has many franchises, so does Warner Media, and so does Netflix with Stranger Things and whatnot. But in the case of Apple TV, that's coming up, they don't have nothing.
They don't really have a TV studio.
You will see that these companies will start buying out studios in order to create new franchises and start developing IPs.
Do you think they'll succeed with Sony?
I think Sony's days are counted unless they start making good with their projects. You see, Men in Black International was a flop, but then you see Venom, which had success at the box office.
This is the thing about Sony. They have hits and they have misses, and when you have that inequivalent of yes nos, you're mostly wasting money.
Yeah,
because you don't gain back all of that.
Rather than
they have hits and misses, but they do have established IP, which is something that an Apple TV does need in order to put up a fight against this giant.
Yeah, and the thing is, if Apple were to buy Sony and it's, let's say, 40 Apple TV, the rights, whatever rights they were holding, since Sony's basically going to be absorbed into Apple, would be let go. Including Spider-Man. Spider-Man would be let go of Sony, and it will finally go back to Marvel.
I wanted to put Sony into this conversation just for that alone, since people are still raving about Spider-Man.
They are.
MCU,
It's the.
Which I honestly don't care because I was getting tired of the damn kid. But
but
yeah,
people actually love Tom.
Yeah, they all love, and I like him too. But I'm getting tired of his shit. And I wanted to bring in Sony because of that, not just because of the Spider-Man situation, but because Apple TV does need those properties or
Otherwise,
something
yeah.
on that magnitude in order to put up a fight with these streaming services giants.
Has
like
Apple
Disney.
ever done shows?
No, this is the first.
No,
their first
Apple
go
is
at it.
just
I
a
know.
technological company.
Yeah,
Like
and
Sony.
they were back when Steve Jobs was alive. He was the guy behind Pixar, but Disney already bought Pixar. So yeah, and Disney had plans to merge with Apple, but that fell off. And they're trying to get into the streaming
So-
game, and I don't see them succeeding, even though they have great talent like Steven Spielberg,
So-
Steve Carell, J.J. Abrams.
So going full circle, like back from episode 1. Let's put a hypothetical, right? Apple manages to buy Sony,
Mm-hmm.
right? Do you think that they're gonna continue with Spider-Man?
No,
rather
because
than
it goes
asking
back
movies,
to
but-
it goes
It
back
goes
to
back
Disney.
to Marvel.
Yeah,
We-
Marvel slash
Yeah,
Disney.
once
Alright.
once Apple buys Sony and all the contracts are done, the rights for for Spider-Man, which is the initial contract, stated that they were just Sony's property. When Sony's gone, it goes back to Marvel.
Yeah.
So so now Sony has a play. If they were to be bought by Apple, and that's a go, if they don't sell Spider-Man before they're bought, they will gain nothing.
Oof.
So now
Because-
there's a play where Marvel has two options. They can buy Spider-Man for a lesser price from the $10 billion they had asked before. Yes, that was before they made the contract. For the $10 billion they had asked before, now they'll be offering a lower price, like I believe it's like $5 or $4 billion, or something along those lines, or just play the wait game. But that would mean that we wouldn't have Spider-Man in the cinematic universe
And I don't mind it,
till that actually
I don't mind not having
drops.
Spider-Man for a while because I was getting tired of Spider-Man, to be honest.
We only
I
have, like, two
hated
movies,
Far
right?
From Home. I hated that movie, except for Mysterio.
I haven't seen it still.
Don't waste your time.
It's a good movie. It's just you get tired of his shenanigans really
Yeah,
fast.
you get tired of Iron Man, and I'm goddamn. He's dead already. Move on. Stop crying about it. Anyways, Apple needs Sony in order to get those IPs like Ghostbusters, like Men in Black, because if they have the right people, you can see those franchises rise from the dead.
Yeah, it
But
just
the
depends.
question is,
And I
at the end of the day, who's gonna be on the top of the mountain in the streaming wars?
Who's gonna be on
Because
the top?
Netflix has these days counted because every day there's another article about this X company taking away their show to their own streaming service, and all they're gonna have left is their original content.
Yeah.
Stranger Things is gonna be done in the next series. That's a
Season.
given. So what is left for Netflix to do in order to stay on top?
I find it sad for Netflix. It's like for the first time ever, I see like a company that's been surviving for so long, right? In my opinion, it's maybe like one of the first ones who actually became king on the streaming services, online. And now everything's being taken away slowly from them without any controversy. They haven't created anything. No problem with anybody except with 13 Reasons Why that I can remember.
And Kevin Spacey in House of Cards.
Yeah, but those things are
That's a goodie.
most of those controversies fall back to the
actual production.
the actual production.
Not the distributor.
Mhm.
So Netflix has had a good run,
When
and
Nef-
seeing
yeah,
it slowly
when
die is
Netflix-
making me slightly
when Nef-
sad.
What Netflix did is change the entertainment game.
Yeah.
They revolutionized entertainment today.
Mm-hmm.
But just like Movie Pass, good things come to an end because better things come. I'm not saying this because I'm a Disney fan, but Disney does have a horsepower in franchises, and they're gonna take that public away from Netflix to their streaming service.
Thing is, difference between Netflix and Disney does have the money bag. They have enough money to pay a production series to look like a movie.
And they will
And
do just
feel
that.
like a movie. And they can make the episodes as long as they want.
God.
We'll still watch them. Especially Mandalorian or these Star Wars series. You look at those trailers and you're like, You sure this is not a movie?
And you
Yeah.
and you see people
You sure
crying.
this is not a movie?
People crying over The Last Jedi. People crying because Disney killed Star Wars, and
Well-
yet people still keep showing up to the
Yeah,
movies and the series.
The thing about the last trilogy is that when they made the plan to make a trilogy, they didn't have a script. They only had the first script.
Hmm.
And then started trying to make it on the go with the director basically trailing along. And they had 3 different directors for the trilogy, which kind of dismisses the point of making a trilogy if you were already going for a
Yeah.
trilogy.
Yeah.
Either have the same writer write the whole 3 movies, or have the same director direct them.
Hmm.
So it's like, it was a whole mess of execution.
But regardless
And
of that issue,
I'm really scared about the last one.
The last one is
Because they're going for... They're bringing Emperor back because they don't know what else to fucking do.
regardless of that, people keep hating on the last movie, and they keep claiming that Disney killed Star Wars. And still,
Look,
Star
people-
Wars keeps
not-
making
It
money.
wasn't, it
The
wasn't,
thing is,
People still keep showing up, except for Solo. But people keep showing up for those movies.
Solo was a good heist film, but it could have been done better.
I know.
the thing is, people,
A lot of the movie could have been predicted.
Thing
Because
is-
you just, alright, this is going to be a heist movie
and yet it's
all
still
that.
flop. But still, if you see merchandise wise, and every other franchise Disney has a hold on.
But
Mhm.
isn't Disney
People
just like the producers of Star Wars? Like, okay, yeah, we're gonna give you
No,
the money.
they own
to-
the fucking thing.
Yeah, they own it, but they're not like they're not the one who are managing Star Wars. Like, hey,
It's looking
Lucasfilms is looking forward to make another trilogy where we're asking you, Disney, onegai shimasu. And then Disney is like, yes, give us a script. They're shaking with the script on their hands. They give it to the big lord, and then Disney is like reading it, going, okay, looks like you came up with something decent. Then he snaps his fingers, brings a lot of money. Here, have the money that you need.
Also, one last thing. Make the lady the Jedi. What? Make the lady the Jedi.
Hey,
I'm saying that as a joke because most people when they saw the trailer the first time they thought that the Stormtrooper Finn was going to be the Jedi because
Yeah.
of the assumption that the male character would be Jedi. But they did a 180 in the movie and it's Rey, the actual Force sensitive character.
Which I love.
I love that. It made it interesting.
Yes, it did.
But then it comes the second movie and it fucks it.
Yeah. Hey,
There was a lot of points in the second movie where I loved it, and a lot
I'm
more
okay
where
with.
I hate.
Listen,
Yeah, that's true.
I'm okay with people not liking the movie. I love The Last Jedi. This is the thing. The Last Jedi still made $1 billion. Force Awakens still did $1 billion. This only goes to show the power of Disney because people keep showing up. This is why they're gonna be very, very good in the streaming wars.
Yeah.
They're gonna do very well. And if they're gonna rise
See-
the prices, people are still gonna show up because people love their product.
I think Star Wars itself, where its power really comes from, is from series. Because the Clone Wars, that series is long as heck, and everybody I know who's watched it has watched it till the end.
Oh yeah, man. That
So-
shit was amazing.
Because it was amazing, because it expanded about everything, and people, when they're watching Star Wars, they just want to know more lore.
Yeah.
Most of these fans are crazy fans where they just want to know more. And the best way to do it is with a series, where you can have your time, have your plot, and do it right.
Thanks
With
to
a movie,
And right on,
with a movie, we only have an hour and a half or 2 hours to tell a story. You can't really expand that much in a movie.
and you're right on the money. Time. People like to spend time in these worlds. What does Netflix do with their shows? They drop it all in one single day. Should Netflix change that? People are very divided on this one. In my poll, people are divided.
In my view, I believe Netflix should attempt doing a series like Disney is, a weekly thing.
Exactly.
I would say this should be their next step because Netflix likes to have all the show like bam, there you go, binge watch that shit, and I get that, but not every series has to be like that. Not every series has to be,
And
like
not
that. And I get that because if I'm watching Stranger Things, I want to watch it till the end, but not every series needs that treatment.
and not everyone has the time to stream it.
Exactly.
That's the thing. and it kills the conversation that quick when you drop it all at once.
Yeah,
But then you see Game of Thrones, which went weekly, and people kept talking about it. Yes, people hated the last episode.
The last season was...
Yeah, and so did I. But it kept the conversation going. And this is what Disney's going to do with their series. They're going to keep the conversation going.
Yeah,
this is what Netflix should do.
Make sense.
Yeah, because
if it's like a
keep them.
weekly, if it's a weekly thing, it's like, okay, we're gonna burn out all this entire conversation that happened in just one episode of 40 minutes, and then we wait for the next week, and then another conversation of the next episode.
Exactly, because when you sorry, when you differentiate the conversation between a series, like say The Walking Dead, they have a Talking Dead show after the whole thing, and they talk about the episode, and the conversation actually evolves because we're watching each episode as they come out. But when let's say Stranger Things season came out, everybody just talks about the season because they just binge watch it.
Yeah.
Talk about it for like a week, and nobody
Even
else
worse.
mentions it.
Even worse.
Because there's something else coming along.
It was 3 days. In my workplace, they only talked about Stranger Things for 3 days. And then people were caught up and done with it. I don't like that. I do like binging shows, but I do like keeping the conversation going because then you go to the water cooler and talk about what happened in this episode. That's what makes...
And theories also
series
come
work.
up with that. A lot of people start theorizing like, oh, I think this is going to happen in this episode, and then the other person is like, nah, that's not going to happen, fam. This is what's going to happen. And, you know,
People start theorizing. It's just keeping the conversation there. That's why.
Yeah,
That's why I prefer watching weekly shows, even though I love binging. I also like a weekly show, especially if I'm watching it with someone.
The last weekly show I've been watching is Demon Slayer. And
Yeah.
I've been loving it. I've been loving talking with my friends about it. I've been loving the little Nezuko. So cute.
It's a good trend.
And I'm suffering because it's gonna end in next week. But it kept the conversation going, and it's gonna keep it up for weeks to come. Unlike Stranger Things that ended in 3 days.
Yeah.
Netflix has to change that in order to survive.
And Netflix needs to adapt. If they the thing that kills most companies is when they don't change or adapt. Blockbuster being one of them, where they didn't change their routine. They just stayed as a video rental service. When Netflix came around, they didn't really change their tactic.
What about Redbox? How come Redbox is
Redbox
so
is a different service.
Yeah.
The thing about Redbox is that they change the movies, and people just come in and rent the movie from there. And they usually have the most recent movies. Like, after they leave the theater, like a month later, the movie's there. They also rent games. So if you're not going to buy the game, let's say Resident Evil 2 when it came out, it was there already on the Redbox. So you could just take it out from the Redbox, play it for like a week, then give it back.
They are adapting. Redbox was adapting.
Exactly.
Blockbuster refused to do so. Netflix has to adapt to this new climate of streaming services in order to survive.
It is becoming way more competitive with so many streaming services that we haven't even mentioned because some of those names are really hard to say.
CBS All Access, Peacock,
Fido TV, Crackle. There's a lot of streaming services, and they all have their own shows.
My dudes.
And they all have their own originals.
I just thought, like, if Disney Plus...
And we haven't even talked about Peacock, which they plan to do an Office reboot, and that is untouchable.
I don't even know what Peacock is, but before I forget, Disney Plus, right? You know, I remember that comment that you said, Angel, about they do, like, other movies apart, and it looks like something straight out of the theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... Now you mentioning that, Disney Plus should do, okay, those really amazing Disney Channel movies from back in the day. Those Disney Channel originals give me twitches or Halloween
I'm sorry
Town.
to break it to you. I'm sorry to break it to you, but the only thing you'll see compared to that, is all the movies that already were released on Disney Channel, because they're bringing in talent from the cinema. They're bringing in Jon Favreau. They're bringing in Taika Waititi. You're not gonna see that kind of shit on Disney streaming service.
You don't know that.
You're underestimating the power of the mouse. Alright? Disney has so many shows. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see Descendants 1, 2, and 3 there.
Dude, if they
they are gonna be there.
Exactly,
Like,
because they're good. They're really high budgeted.
You know what
TV
else?
movies.
You know what else?
We'll see High School Musical there. We'll see the High School Musical
We're
there
gonna
as
see
well.
DuckTales.
We're gonna see DuckTales. We're gonna see the shows. We're gonna see everything. Disney XDs, all of the shows
They're
they
gonna
have
have
there.
a new Phineas and Ferb movie in
Do
this.
you think they're gonna
be doing all that?
Do you think they're gonna like not reboot? Yes.
They are already
Bring back
remaking everything.
Dude, if they do, I want to see House of Mouse. You know?
No, that's a step too far.
That's House of Mouse was a in-between show where every other Disney character stayed in, and it was like how do you say? It was like a stand-up. It was basically like a Saturday Night Live for Disney characters. Wow, it's very good.
I have to deal with this since middle school.
That's a very.
I
good
love my Donald
impression.
Duck. Anyways, at the end of the day, what way are you going? Which streaming services are you inclined to have at the end of the day?
At the end of the day, I'm not paying for Netflix. My father is. I am paying for Hulu, and I don't know if either my brother starts paying for Disney Plus. So if he starts paying for that, then I have Disney Plus. But I'm not thinking of paying for any other streaming service.
Right.
Unless there's like a show that like either my girlfriend really wants to watch or my family's like, oh, you gotta watch this show.
Well,
Sabes, tienes que ver el barco porque el barco está.
The same thing
that's a
with
Netflix
Money
show.
Heist. The same thing with Money Heist. Everyone's keep hyping it to me.
Yeah. Like
I'm done with Netflix.
Well,
I'm done with Netflix.
Again, the same way I started this episode, the same way I'm gonna end with my ideology. I'm a simple man with simple needs. I enjoy Netflix for what it is until the day it dies. I'm not a man with a lot of money, so eventually I could migrate to over at Hulu and seeing how Disney Plus and seeing depending how Disney Plus goes, because I'm not a big fan of remaking old movies into live action. That's not really my thing. If it's your thing, that's cool. I don't have anything against it. It's just not my thing. But if they bring like, at least this is my ideology. If they bring like either better versions of Disney Channel originals movies or bring back the old cartoons from back in the Toon Disney when Toon Disney was a thing, or even Jetix.
Bringing back as in rebooted or bringing those shows and having it.
No, just a reboot. Like
reboots. Okay.
like just the same thing, not a remake like how they did with what was the name, DuckTales.
Which is a pretty good remake.
It's a really good remake, even though I've seen only 2 episodes and I want to watch it. And if Disney Plus puts that in there, if Disney Plus is willing to put all those shows in there, then
I'm sure they will.
Which I'm sure they will.
Because they need content and you need to keep.
Then eventually I will also migrate because Disney has had a lot of past channels. Toon Disney, we had Jetix, we had Disney XD. It started weak in my opinion, but then Disney XD is glorious in my eyes.
Yeah.
Well, since I'm lucky to have a job, I already pronounced Netflix dead to me because of One Day at a Time, and that is unforgivable. I'm gonna stay with Hulu, Disney, and I'm probably gonna move with HBO Max because of Doctor Who. Because I love my Doctor. I love my Doctor Who's, and since they're gonna have all the seasons there, I can't wait.
All of the seasons.
Well, at least the new ones.
The new ones, exactly.
New ones. If they do bring the old ones, then count me fucking in now.
That should be a good slogan for you. No, actually a good message for you to Netflix. Hey Netflix, quote unquote. I'm quoting Bryan. This is not from me. Netflix, in case if you guys actually hear this.
Whichever one.
This is
you know who's
Bryan.
gonna listen to this?
Press X to doubt.
Okay, so this is what Bryan is basically saying. So Netflix, you guys are slowly dying to the competition, one day at a time.
Well, that got me hard anyway. Well, this is it. Thank you so much for listening to this banter. I am so happy that you're still listening. My 3 viewers from last time, even though I know there are 21 subscribers right now, but for the 3 of you that stay loyal, thank you so much. This is Bryan Chevrolet,
Jan Chevalier,
and Angel Nieves.
And before we forget, a major shout out to Angels again. You can check over Angel over at the description below. Link in the description below. PUI if you guys are interested to check it out.
Yes, I have a YouTube channel, a Twitch channel, and a Discord. You can join if you'd like. I usually just do games streams, playing Warframe, Siege with friends and all that, and Final Fantasy VIII if you're ever interested. And we're just here to have fun. And if you're interested in the channel, the link will be in the description.
We are all we're very into the fun, but I'm more into Nintendo. So, anyways, you can find me on my social media in Twitter, Instagram. You know the drill. Anyways, see you guys. Maybe next time we should talk about video games. That would be a nice topic.
Yeah.
See you guys next time on the Nonsense Stuff Show here on the Beyond Stuff channel.